Hey there, welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report, and I'm Chase Sr. Coming up, what Colin Cowherd and Julian Edelman had to say about Brock Purdy. And what they had to say I thought was very interesting. And since we're talking about Cowherd and my name is Chase Sr., here's today's poll question. Have fun with it. Who is the better talk show host? CH for Colin, CS for Chase. Let us know down in the comment section. I can't wait to get flamed down in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for today's San Francisco 49ers Report is our friends at Game Time. Holiday season is coming up, and if you want the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, prices drop as the event gets closer. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And what is better for a holiday gift than getting somebody some tickets to a Niners game, or a sporting event, or a concert, comedy show, theater event, and a whole lot more. And you know what's kind of a flex? You get somebody who you care about tickets, and then they ask you to go to the game. So you're spending money on their holiday gift, and then you get to enjoy it as well. That is a win-win. You make them happy, and then you get to be happy as well. The user experience here is awesome too, because I just love how you get the vantage point and the price point from your individual seats. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. They have flash deals and zone deals. Game Time Picks allows you to not have to go through thousands of tickets. They give you the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. And if you find a lower price elsewhere, Game Time will credit you up to 110% of the difference. So, on the show here today, I was watching and listening to The Herd on FS1, Fox Sports Radio, and Colin Cowherd, Julian Edelman. They were talking about Brock Purdy, the player, and the looming contract that he could get from the Niners. And the big question is, how much will he ask for and demand? How much will the Niners give him? And the number right now for top 10 quarterbacks in the league, where Purdy is going to kind of be in that range, he's going to, according to my sources, going to be asking for a contract in that realm, is between $50 and $60 million. And so when they started talking about this, it piqued my interest. I opened up my ears. Here's what they had to say, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. First, Colin Cowherd on Purdy. I like Brock Purdy. You start talking about $50 million large, I don't like Brock Purdy. I'd go Sam Darnold at $40 million for 3 years over Brock at $55 million. Right now, when you look at the 14 playoff quarterbacks, if the season were to end today, 12 are first rounders. Jalen Hurts was a second rounder. Scouting matters. You fall to the 7th round for a reason. People like Purdy, but he was reckless at Iowa State. He was small. He struggles in wet weather. I can't pay him big money. Now, Purdy did fall to the 7th round for a reason. Doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He's smaller in stature. He was a little bit reckless at Iowa State, and he does struggle in some inclement weather. We have seen it throughout his career. Last year against Cleveland, in the NFC divisional round against Green Bay. This year, in some bad weather, he has struggled to throw the football. That happened against Buffalo, and it happened a couple of weeks later against the Rams on Thursday night. This is why hand size matters. This is why sometimes the NFL Combine testing numbers do matter. But let's run through it here. The $50 to $60 million per year number, that is the big question with Brock Purdy. When you watch him this year, are you sure if you're going to make that hefty investment that he is worth that price tag? If you watch Purdy this year, I don't know if you can be sure because his play has been inconsistent. At times, it's been very average. It's been up and down. Now, in 2022 and in 2023, he played at an elite level. The numbers certainly back that up, and we'll explore those numbers coming up here just around the corner. But in 2024, I'd give him about a B-minus grade. And yes, Sam Darnold has had one good year, but he's having that good year finally in a good environment. And so if you want to compare Darnold and Purdy, does Darnold have the stronger arm? Is he a bigger athlete? Can he drive the football in there with more velocity? Can he throw it in bad weather? Does he have mobility? For sure. But Purdy also has some strengths on Darnold, has more production over a larger sample size as far as better overall production outside of just 1 year. But the common theme here It's almost like quarterbacks need a foundation. They need stability. They need support in order to grow and have success. We've seen that with Purdy in 2022 and 2023. Without it in 2024, he's really struggled. Throughout his entire career, Darnold has never had that. Now that he has it with Minnesota, he's finally finding that success. Back to the price tag here. Here's a list of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks on an average annual value basis. Dak Prescott, number 1 at $60 million. Jordan Love at number 2, $55. He's tied with Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. Tua Tagovailoa, he got paid this offseason, $53.1 million per year. Jared Goff got paid this offseason. He's at 53. Justin Herbert, 52.5. Lamar Jackson at 52. Jalen Hurts at 51, and Kyler Murray at 46.1. I have posed this question before, but when you look at this list, which quarterbacks would you take Purdy over? I think he's been better than Trevor Lawrence. He's better than Tua Tagovailoa. He's beaten Jared Goff in a head-to-head, and you can make the argument he might be better than Jared Goff. Is he better than Jalen Hurts? He's had some more passing success than Hurts at times, and I'd rather have Brock Purdy over Kyler Murray. And when you scout him, yeah, he did have so much experience at Iowa State. He was reckless then. He has been a solid decision maker at the NFL level. He does struggle in bad weather. Those are fair points from Colin Cowherd. And the decision making is really key for me because in 2022 and 2023, he kept the ball out of harm's way. This year, though, hasn't done that to the same level. And so if you're going to lack physical traits, you better be a surgeon as far as how you run the offense, with your accuracy, layering balls in there, with your decision-making like a Drew Brees. And in the past, Purdy has been that guy. This year, he's not. If he can flush the turnovers and get back to great decision-making, that helps make up for the lack of physical attributes. Here's what Julian Edelman said about Brock Purdy. If it's a contract starting with the 5 in there, it's going to be tough because of what Sam Darnold is doing in Minnesota. I remember going and talking about it in week 5 when they were going through a little bit of adversity. I said specifically, this year will determine if you are a $30 million quarterback or a $50 million quarterback. And through the whole year, it's looked like he's a $30 million quarterback, which is a great quarterback. He's a good football player, but we're seeing his limitations when guys aren't playing and when there's excuses. I know a lot of people will say, but Chase, the market. 4-2 in the playoffs. Last year, top 5 in MVP voting. He was top 5, top 10 in a lot of quarterback statistical categories. Let me throw this at you, though. At what point does a team say, screw the market? We paid Tua. He's not worth that. We paid Trevor Lawrence. He ain't worth that. Daniel Jones got $40 million per year. He's no longer on the New York Giants a couple of years after that. We're not paying quarterbacks that much money because it limits us with how we can build the rest of the team. And for the Niners, they might say that about Brock Purdy. And look, there is nothing wrong with being a quarterback who needs a good supporting cast. There's nothing wrong with the quarterback making $30 to $40 million per year. It's okay if you're not making $50 million in average annual value. And for the Niners, if they don't have to pay him $50 to $60, that's a huge win for the organization and something that you should celebrate. It's so funny when I'm talking on this show or taking clips from the show or putting out some thoughts on X or Instagram, and I'm saying, look, Purdy might have to play on an expiring deal. I'm not sure he's worth the max. People will be like, screw you, Chase. Yeah, he is. Purdy's our guy. Ideally, you don't want to pay your quarterback $50 to $60 million. Ideally, you pay him 30 to 40. Why? You can make the rest of your team better. And there are some exceptions here. Here are my alien quarterbacks. When I call them alien quarterbacks, regardless of the situation, they are going to make their teammates around them better. They are going to put up elite production. They can win regardless of their supporting cast. And they can overcome limitations with the rest of their team. Coaching, GM, injuries, roster, bad offensive line play, etc., etc. It doesn't matter if you have a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They will be elite and MVP candidates regardless of what's happening around them. Then the next tier, quarterbacks who can carry you but do need some help. Joe Burrow is an incredible quarterback. But When you think about what Joe Burrow has done in his entire NFL career, he's put up insane numbers. But his win-loss record, he's 35-30-1. He made it to the Super Bowl. He's taken down Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, but he's 35-30-1 when he's had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for a bulk of his career. He still can carry you, though, but he does need some help. The same can be said for Matthew Stafford and Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. And I do still put Aaron Rodgers in that tier. He started to play better of late. Look, he's a 40-plus-year-old quarterback coming off a torn Achilles with a coach who got fired. He had an awful OC. They're on their second OC. The Jets are a joke of an organization, but in his last 7 games, he's had a passer rating more than 100. And then I'm putting Jordan Love in that category because you watch Jordan Love, he makes some wow plays. And then the next tier, there are good quarterbacks who need help. There's Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Baker Mayfield. They will put up really good production, but when they don't have complementary pieces around them, they can struggle a little bit. Baker Mayfield wasn't the same quarterback when he didn't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin for a stretch. Jalen Hurts, earlier this year against Tampa Bay, he was awful when the Eagles didn't have Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. Jared Goff, we saw the quarterback that he was with the Rams. Now he has the best play caller in the game in Ben Johnson. He has Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has Sam Laporta, 2 great running backs, although David Montgomery is now injured. Maybe the best offensive line in football. Now he's having a career year. If he didn't have that foundation around him, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. And with Dak Prescott, a classic case of a quarterback where if you pay him big-time dollars and you lean on him too much to throw the football and you're not complimentary as far as pass, run, and he has to do too much, that's why the Cowboys continue to lack big-time playoff-level success because they're not good enough around Dak because they're paying him too much money. And that's the concern here with Brock Purdy. When Purdy gets help, we've seen him be elite. This year, when there's a lot of chaos, moving parts, and instability around him, that's when he's come back down to a mediocre level. But in 2023, when he had some good weapons around him, when Kyle Shanahan was in his bag, when the Niners defense was playing pretty well, he was number 1 in yards per attempt, number 1 in adjusted air yards per attempt, number 1 in true passer rating, number 1 in QBR, number 1 in deep ball catchable rate. People try to tell me he doesn't have a long ball. This year, has he struggled a little bit with it? Yeah, he struggled a little bit with it, but he still has that to his game. Look at what he did last year. Number 1 in EPA, number 2 in red zone completion rate, number 3 in passing touchdowns, number 4 in pressure completion rate, and number 5 in passing yards. The Niners made it to the Super Bowl with that. This year, so much chaos, moving parts, injuries. You had the Brandon Ayuk hold in. He's without his number 1. Trent Williams hold out. He's without the protector of his blind side. Christian McCaffrey was the offensive player of the year. He, like Purdy, top 5 MVP voting. That hurts you in the run game, hurts you in the pass game. Deebo Samuel, declining, injured. George Kittle, in and out of the lineup. Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, they have missed some time. Defense hasn't been the same. Kyle Shanahan has had a down year. It's hard to succeed playing with backups, with all of that instability, and all of those things around you. And for this entire organization, it's been a down season. But still in 2024, here are some notable numbers. He's number 3 in yards per attempt at 8.4. He's number 3 in pressure completion rate, number 4 in air yards per attempt, number 5 in QBR, number 10 in air yards, and he's still number 13 in passing yards. It's not bad. So the big question of the offseason, the big question of the day, is Purdy worth $50 to $60 million per season? W for worth it, P for too pricey. Sound off, embrace the bait, shoot, and let me know.